So here we are at the gates of the historic King's Chapel. And here is Heinrich Christensen, the music director of King's Chapel.
Welcome, everyone.
Today we're interviewing Heinrich Christensen, the music director of King's Chapel. We'll be upstairs, we'll have some music and some conversation, so please join us. Hi everybody, this is Tim Macri. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And I'm here today with Heinrich Christensen, who is the music director of Historic King's Chapel. And Heinrich, thank you very much for agreeing to interview.
It's great having you here.
Can you tell me something first about this particular organ?
So this organ is from 1964. It was built by Fisk. It was a local builder up in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And it's built to look like the organ that was in this building originally. So the building, the current building was completed in 1754, and they sent away for an organ from London that was shipped over here and arrived in, I think, 1756 by a builder called Bridge. And supposedly Handel himself signed off on that organ before it was shipped over here. Anyway, organs don't tend to last more than 50 to 100 years before they need some mechanical refurbishing. So over the centuries, I think we have had about 5 or 6 organs. And then in 1958, my predecessor, Daniel Pinkham, came here, and there was a big Skinner organ, which was the fashion at the time, with parts of it up in the attic and all this folderol. But it was not in good shape, and so Dan approached Charlie Fisk to build a new organ. They found a nice lady, Amelia Peabody, who's memorialized over here. It's the Peabody Memorial Organ, and she gave them money so they could build a new tracker organ, so mechanical action, so also in that way taking it back to the 1800s, if you will. And getting, I think it was the first 3-manual tracker built in this country in the 20th century. So it's a little slice of American organ history.
And speaking of organ history, Dan Pinkham is a bit of Boston organ history, isn't he?
Yeah, so Dan, as I said, came here in 1958. He was the music director for 42 years until 2000. I had the great fortune of being his assistant for the last 2 of those 42 years. And then I got to take over when he retired, which is a great honor. And Dan was sort of a pioneer in the whole early music movement in this country. So he played the harpsichord and did a whole bunch of research. He published quite a bit of, choral anthems, early music stuff, and was very much part of that movement, taught at New England Conservatory, and was instrumental in reintroducing a lot of that repertoire that sort of had been forgotten until the early music movement picked it up.
I know when my flute teacher, Lois Schaefer, retired from the Boston Symphony, she had Dan Pinkham write her piccolo concerto.
Yeah, so Dan wrote a ton of music for all kinds of, lots of chamber music with organ and just about any other instrument you can think of. He was a very prolific composer.
Fascinating. So you've been here since about 2000.
I have. So I came in 1998, and I was his assistant for 2 years, and then he retired at the age of 77, and I've been hanging out here ever since.
Fantastic.
A grand old time.
For the people watching who may or may not know, you are Danish.
That's right. And right before I moved to the U.S., actually, I lived in Sweden for 4.5 years, and I worked at a church in Malmö, which is just across the water, so almost home. It's very close to Denmark. But I was working there, and this particular piece, the Gammal Fäbodpsalm, is extremely popular there. It's a traditional Swedish folk tune, and the arrangement that is most familiar to, that is often requested for memorial services is by Oskar Lindberg, but it comes in a couple of different arrangements, just a gorgeous tune, and you sometimes hear orchestral arrangements and used it in all kinds of contexts.
And what is the translation of that?
So it's an old hymn, Fäbod is, I guess where they would take the sheep in the, some sort of almost like being in the Alps, except in Sweden, right? That you would take the sheep up in the I guess the highlands to graze for the summer, and so it sort of has that feeling to me of somebody singing their lonely tune out on the field.
Well, it's a beautiful arrangement that we're going to play. And you have another arrangement of the song as well.
We have multiples, yes.
Yeah, so it's fascinating. So we're going to take care of that. We're going to play that arrangement for you and in just a moment.